Howdy, folks. John Pelham. For those of you who are part of our First Christian Church family, you may have heard Pastor Carley's sermon on Sunday, and if you didn't, I encourage you to go to YouTube or go to the church website on Facebook or wherever you get your social media and check it out. She did an absolutely great job of introducing a new sermon series called Dear Church, and she uses her passage, the first chapter of First Thessalonians, and it was a letter to the church at Thessalonica that talked about the importance of that church and the importance of the people in that church and the good news that they were spreading. And to preface her sermon, she talked about some bad news, then the good news, but she started with the bad news that basically all religious organizations, particularly Protestant religions, are having in the reduction of attendance in their churches, and she pointed out that many churches have gone under, and many of the churches that remain are small. Now, we are very blessed in our church that that's not happened. We, at this point, are a stable, growing church, but it's happening around. And the point she was making with this passage from Thessalonica is, even though numbers are declining, the role that the church has in society and in our communities doesn't have to decline. In fact, it should be strengthening in face of this. Well, it got me started, and I decided I would go, kind of checking out church decline and what that amounted to. And you can find, all you got to do is Google declining church membership, and you get all kind of statistics. And I'm not going to bore you with that, but I did find an article that I thought had some important messages for us. And the title of the article was 11 Reasons Why Church Attendance is Declining. I'm not going to cover all 11 of them, but I wanted to hit just a few of them that might include in the problem a key to a solution of the issue. But I'll just start here. First is greater affluence. Money gives people options. If our church is at all engaging the middle class, the upper middle class, or suburban demographic, an interesting trend is developing. And again, people with money have options, technology options, travel options, options for kids. Arguably, that influence may be one of the factors moving them farther away from a committed engagement. It may also key leadership in churches to capitalize on that and find new and better and more effective ways of engaging people who are not always necessarily in attendance. Second one he mentioned was higher focus on kids' activities. A growing number of kids are playing sports, and a growing number of kids are playing on teams that require travel. Many of these sports happen on weekends. Affluent parents are choosing sports over church. Again, what can we do to make children's activities around the church more inviting and more exciting when we do have them there? Number 3, more travel. Again, tied to affluence. Despite environmental concerns, travel is on the rise, and most people are taking far more than the old standard one vacation a year. More and more families of various ages travel for leisure, even if it's just out of town or go camping or to a friend's place. When people are out of town, they tend not to be in church. This ties to one that I'll come on a little bit later. In fact, it makes it imperative that we have options for all online attendance, off-campus attendance to either live or recorded church services, and that ties right into the next one. Online options. With the rise of online church, social media, and ubiquitous tech, there have never been more opportunities for people to access church without being there. Online isn't anything new, but the shift to watching services from home and from wherever you are was amplified by the COVID pandemic. There are pros and cons to online church, and there's no doubt that churches with a strong online presence have seen it impact physical attendance. I suspect we could cite examples in any of the churches that are represented on this, that people start watching us online and then decide maybe they should get up and start going to church. So there's that. Self-directed spirituality. Now this is an interesting one. People are looking less to churches and leaders to help them grow spiritually and more to other options. We live in an era in which no parent makes a visit to a doctor's office without having first Googled the symptoms of a child illness and a recommended course of treatment. When was the last time you bought a car without completely researching it online? In an age where we have access to everything, more and more people are self-directing their spirituality for better or for worse. Similarly, another characteristic of the postmodern mind is a declining trust and reliance on institutions. If people don't come to us, we need to go to them in whatever media and whatever opportunities we have. Failure to see a direct benefit. Now, here's one that needs to speak to all of us, whether we're in the pastoral position or otherwise. People always take time for the things they value the most. If they're not making time for church, that tells you something. Even among people who say they love the church and who say they love your church, if declining attendance is an issue, chances are it's because they don't see a direct benefit from attendance. They don't see the value in being there week after week. The dominant model for growing churches over the last few decades is what many people call attracting church. However, as culture changes, the church needs to adjust. When what used to connect no longer connects, you either change or settle for reaching fewer people. A generation that's sick of hype is ready for 1, less presentation, more presence, less noise, more space, less head, more heart. I love that. Valuing attendance over engagement. And this is one that I particularly also like. When someone merely attends church, the likelihood of showing up regularly or even engaging their faith decreases over time. At our church, I find our most engaged people who serve, give, invite, and who are in a community group or small group are our most frequent attendees. Ironically, if you value attendance over engagement, you'll see declining attendance. Get people engaged, get people involved. They're more likely to come back if they get involved. And then finally, a massive culture shift. And this is one that every institution, not just the church, all of these trends are witness to something deeper. Our culture is shifting seismically. Church leaders who fail to recognize this will not be able to change rapidly enough to respond to the shifts that are happening. What's happening in the culture in our community, in the communities around us? We see them all the time. And if we don't take advantage, if we don't adjust accordingly, the church becomes irrelevant to more and more people. Folks, this is a little bit heavier than what I usually get into, but it was something that was piqued my interest from Carly's presentation, and I just got really involved in looking into some of the causes. So appreciate you being with me. Hope you'll come back next time. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.